Ready?
But then how do we see, if I put it at this end over here,
In the big, I just don't know the what.
I can turn the computer around, put it here and facing.
Okay. It's a big one.
Like this, maybe to see it, I don't know. 1 second, share screen,
Are we in, right?
the actions.
Hi, Jill.
Okay.
Hey, Jill.
Hi.
Can I go?
Ruben, are you here? I thought somebody said Ruben was here, but I don't see him.
Matches your shirt too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's Ruben. There's Ruben.
Yeah.
Oh, do I need to go this way? Is that why?
Hi, Ruben.
Oh,
He's still connecting to them.
Hi, Sandy.
hi, darling.
Hello, everybody.
Where's Ellen?
Back off.
Where's Ellen?
Home button first.
I'm here. Oh, my mom.
Goes. Welcome, Ruben.
You're upside down.
Just sideways. I don't know how that happens. She does it.
Right? You're like, I can't move my neck that much to kind of look that way.
Kiki! Kiki! Kiki, come here. I love you.
Hi, Lorraine.
I love you.
Hey, Ruben.
Hello there. Hi, Ruben. Hey.
Lorraine's there.
Here.
See, Elizabeth, you're a little bit sideways for a while.
I know, I'm just trying to do something, love. Now you're the right way.
I love your name, The Director.
Me too. I'm trying to send a message to everyone in the play to change your name to what part you're playing. So people know what part you're playing in the play.
Okay.
So you know, Elizabeth, I'm floating, so I'm just gonna leave my name alone.
Okay, love, that's fine. Rebecca.
Yes, dear.
Are you doing? I think just Hebrew 1 at the moment. I think everything else is filled.
Let's see.
Okay.
Is everyone here for the play? Is everyone? Is the cast here?
I think
so. But let me just. I'll just do a really quick call. Is Linda here? I'm here. Is Mike here?
Right here.
Mike, you're here. Paul and Aaron. Paul and Isaac.
Yeah.
Ruben.
Who's this?
Ruben's there.
I'm here.
Daniel.
I'm here.
Okay, and my sister, she's on the phone to my husband, so she's here. Okay, fine, lovely. Thank you, guys.
Huzzah. Everyone passed the test.
I'm going to get a passing grade in Judaism. Woohoo!
There you go.
Hi, everyone.
Can I get extra credit?
Of course you get extra credit, Paul. Hi, Shai.
Hi.
Chag Sameach. We're going to start in a second. Just getting last minute things going. Waiting for 1 or 2 more people to arrive.
Who's talking now?
Especially those who are doing Manishtana.
Oh, I thought I get.
I'm not even there. I don't understand.
I forget what the number was again.
Oh, there he is.
It wants my date of birth, my email address, all this crap.
No.
Oh, that's not me.
Okay.
You know he was. You did a Seder.
And we can also say in some parts of the time zones, it's Shabbat still. Shabbat is about to come out. And so we can also say Shabbat Shalom and Chag Sameach. And we're going to begin our Seder with a little bit of a Havdalah to say goodbye to Shabbat. And so, very short Havdalah.
don't bother this one. לא חשוב.
So if you have a Havdalah candle and you want to join us by lighting the Havdalah candle, you can do that as well. And we are going to just begin a very, very short Havdalah. Yai lai 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 yai lai 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 ya la la lai 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 ya la lai lai ya la lai Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Bore peri hagafen, bore peri hagafen. Yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, ya la la lai. Yai lai lai ya la lai lai ya la lai Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam bore meorei haesh bore meorei haesh Yai lai 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 yai lai 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 yai lai 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 ya la lai lai ya la lai yai lai 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 yai lai 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 ya la la lai 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 ya la lai lai ya lai lai Shavua tov, 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 Shavua tov. A good week, a week of peace. May gladness reign and joy exist. A week of peace, a week of peace. May gladness reign and joy exist. Welcome, everyone, to our Pesach Seder. A little bit different again. It's a year, it seems like a year that we've done this before like this, all together. And some new people joined us. And so as we begin with our Haggadah, if you have it downloaded, you can use your own as well. It was in the email, or just join us here, and you can follow along with us. And let's begin. There's no Seder like our Seder. There's no Seder I know. Everything about it is halachic. Nothing that the Torah won't allow. Listen how we read from the Haggadah. It's all in Hebrew, 'cause we know how. There's no Seder like our Seder. We tell a story that's swell. Moses took the people out into the heat. They baked the matzah while on their feet. Now isn't that a story that just can't be beat? Let's go on with the show. Everybody now. There's no Seder like our Seder. There's no Seder I know. Everything about nothing that the Torah won't allow. Listen how we read from the Haggadah. It's all in Hebrew, 'cause we know how. There's no Seder like our Seder. We tell a story that's swell. How Moses took the people out into the heat. They baked the matzah while on their feet. Now isn't that a story that just can't be beat? Let's go on with the show. A couple of reminders that various parts we have to mute everyone just so that we can all hear what's going on. And there will be times when we unmute. So just make sure you're muted when it's time, and then we'll let you know when we can unmute as well. So, I have a few favorite things about Passover, and I think that we all do, and we should really sing them right now. Here we go. Cleaning and cooking and so many dishes. Out with the chametz, no pasta, no knishes. Fish that's gefiltered, horseradish that stings. These are a few of our Passover things. Matzah and karpas and chopped up charosis. Shank bones and kiddush and Yiddish neurosis. Tanti who kvetches and uncle who sings. These are a few of our Passover things. Motzi and marrow and troubles with Pharaoh. Famines and locusts and slaves with wheelbarrows. Matzah balls floating and eggshells that cling. These are a few of our Passover things. When the plagues strike, when the lies strike, when we're feeling sad, we simply remember our Passover things. Then we don't feel so bad. When the plagues strike, when the lies strike, when we're feeling sad, we simply remember our Passover things, and then we don't feel so bad. Passover things. And as we go through our Haggadah, this Haggadah will show us what we need to do, and all kinds of different things. There are some little things that if you read, you'll be able to see all kinds of tidbits. And we begin with the order of the Seder. And the order of the Seder also has a tune to it. So let's follow it. Kadesh uchatz, karpas yachatz, Magid rachatz, motzi matzah, maror korech, shulchan aruch, tzafun barech, halel nirtzah. Kadesh uchatz, karpas yachatz, Magid rachatz, motzi matzah, maror korech, shulchan aruch, tzafun barech, halel nirtzah. And so we turn to our next page and we ask Meryl to read for us.
The biblical command to celebrate Passover. This day shall be for you one of remembrance. You shall eat unleavened bread. On the first day, you shall remove all leaven from your houses. For whoever eats leavened bread from the first day to the seventh day, that person shall be cut off from Israel. The symbols on our Seder plate. As we sit down at our beautifully set table to celebrate our Passover Seder, on the table we see a plate with 3 covered matzah and a special matzah plate with the following symbols. Bitter herbs. This reminds us of the bitter times our ancestors spent in slavery in Egypt. A shank bone. This represents the Paschal lamb. A roasted egg. The burnt egg is a sign of mourning. We mourn for the loss of the temple in Jerusalem. Haroset. This is the food made of apples, nuts, dates, and wine. When mixed together, resembles the mortar our ancestors used to build the pyramids in Egypt. Parsley. In ancient times, parsley was regarded as an appetizer, but also as a symbol of our gratitude to God for giving us the produce of the land. A dish of salt. The salt reminds us of the years our ancestors shed while slaves in Egypt. This plate represents our time and the journey of our slavery.
Thank you, Toda Rabah.
Thank you.
And so now we ask Karen to unmute and lead us in the candle lighting for Pesach.
May the lights we now light inspire us to help and not to harm, to lend a hand in times of need. May these lights help light our way and enable us to embrace this light in order to enhance our lives. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu, l'hadlik ner shel yom tov. Amen.
Thank you very much. And let's read together. We are now ready to fulfill the commandment of the first cup of wine. While we drink this first cup of wine, we remember your promise to us to free us from the burdens of the Egyptians. And so now, if you want to take your first cup of wine, raise it really high. And we don't yet drink. We say the blessing, but then we're going to say Shechianu, and so we don't drink the wine yet. We drink the wine after we finish Shechianu. So let's say the blessing. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. we may say l'chaim and we may drink from our first cup of wine or grape juice. So everybody make sure, if you can, if you have, make sure you have your parsley in your hand. And we have Tara reading for us.
We wash our hands, urchatz. We wash our hands without saying the blessing. Karpas. We prepare to eat the parsley. Let us read together. This parsley is a symbol of the creation, of the life cycle that God created for us and left in our charge. The seed of this parsley was planted and nurtured with the warmth and light of the sun and welcome rain. We too grow through loving and nurturing our families, friends, and communities, and the natural wealth God bestowed on us. The salt water that we dip our parsley in symbolizes the tears we shed as slaves in Egypt. It also represents tears of joy at the possibility of new beginnings. Let us each take a sprig of parsley and say together.
So let's take the parsley together and say together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri ha'adama. Now we can dip the parsley in our salt water and taste it. Really good. Really good for our breath, I'm told. But we're on Zoom, so it doesn't matter. So yachatz is the breaking of the middle matzah. If you have matzah right there and you're going to break a little piece, we take out the middle matzah, we break the matzah, and the larger half is wrapped and becomes the afikomen. The afikomen is hidden, and later, the kids, if we have kids there, we'll have to find it, and we can't continue the Seder otherwise. And so now we have Jeff reading for us.
The other half of the middle matzah is lifted up. This matzah symbolizes the bread of affliction. Let us say together, this is the bread of affliction that we ate in slavery in Egypt. This bread represents the poor and hungry and those who are still not free. Let us invite those in need to join us at our Seder table. Together we will pray that this time next year there will be no more slavery or poverty. We pray that all people will be able to enjoy liberty, justice, and peace.
Amen.
Amen.
And so Pesach is about slavery, about coming out of slavery, about the physical act of it when it happened in our history, collective history. And what does it mean today for us? So if you'd like to unmute and very, very short, because we're going to have like a very short discussion, maybe a sentence. What does freedom mean to you today? So anybody who wants to unmute and tell us one sentence, a couple of words.
I'll go. Being able to love who you want.
Nice.
Being able to be who you are, whoever that person is, and just be loved for who you are.
I think this year, especially being free from mental anguish and the loneliness that we've all experienced this past year.
Freedom is a weight off my shoulders of anyone else's expectations. I have nothing to live up to.
Nice.
Freedom is the ability to have a voice.
Yes.
The ability to be safe and healthy.
The ability to rest when it is necessary.
Nice.
The ability to love. I'm sorry.
No, please.
The ability to love.
The ability to share.
And the ability to forgive.
The ability to be able to worship God in any way we choose.
Yes. And the ability to please God next year, be able to hug people during Pesach and hold hands. And we can do it now virtually. And the ability to get back to whatever normal looks like again. It's never going to be the same as we are used to, but the way, whatever it is, coming out of Egypt, coming out of this plague, as it were, and into a more evolved place, a more evolved consciousness.
Freedom is the ability to know what we're not free from, and to change it.
Freedom is the ability to be with loved ones, either in person or via Zoom.
Yeah. And so now we have a special treat, and so honored. We have Izzy and Ari singing the Manishtana for us.
השתנה הלילה הזה, מכל הלילות, מכל הלילות, שבכל הלילות אנו אוכלים חמץ ומצה, חמץ ומצה, הלילה הזה, כולו מצה, הלילה הזה, כולו מצה, שבכל הלילות אנו אוכלים שאר ירקות, שאר ירקות, הלילה הזה, Maror, halayla, maror, שבכל הלילות אין אנו מקבלים אפילו פעם אחת, הלילה הזה, שתהי הלילה הזה, שתהי פעמים, שבכל הלילות אנו אוכלים בין יושבים ובין מסובים, בין יושבים ובין מסובים, הלילה הזה, כולנו מסובים, הלילה הזה, כולנו מסובים.
Toda Rabba. Thank you so much. I told you it was going to be a special treat. Thank you, Koblitz family. And we ask Shelley now to read on our next page.
We now uncover the remaining matzah and say, tonight is different from all other nights because tonight we remember that once we were slaves to Pharaoh in Egypt and realize how fortunate we are. Even if we already know the story of Passover and are learned in Torah, we still have the obligation to tell the story as though we ourselves came out of Egypt, that we never forget our humble beginnings, the struggles of slavery, and the joy and privilege of freedom.
Toda
The
rabah.
story. Stop.
No, that's great. Thank you. The next one is actually a song. So, and a fun song, sang to the tune of 4 Clementines. The Torah commands us that to teach the story of Passover, our children, we have to teach our children so that we never forget that being slaves is an integral part of our history. So the following song shows 4 different ways children might react to Passover. And originally it was the 4 sons, it still is, but it could be a metaphor for any of our children. So we join in, and the tune is, it's going to be familiar. Said the father to the children, at the Seder you will dine, you will eat your fill of matzah, you will drink 4 cups of wine. Now this father had no daughters, but his sons they numbered 4. One was wise and one was wicked, one was simple and a bore. Now the 4th was sweet and winsome, he was young and he was small. While his brothers asked the questions, he could scarcely speak at all. Said the father to his helper, would you please explain the laws of the customs of the Seder? Will you please explain the cause? And the father proudly answered, our fathers ate in speed, ate the Paschal lamb at midnight, and from slavery were freed. So we follow their example, and before midnight must complete all the Seder, and we should not after midnight remain to eat. Then it's near son so wicked, what does all this mean to you? And the father's voice was bitter as his grief and anger grew. If yourself you don't consider as a son of Israel, then for you this has no meaning. You could be a slave as well. Then the simple son said simply, what is this? And quietly the good father told his offspring, we were freed from slavery. But the youngest child was silent, for he could not talk at all. His eyes were bright with wonder as his father told him all. Now, dear children, read the lesson and remember evermore what the father told his children, told his sons that numbered 4. What the father told his children, told his sons that numbered 4. Number 4. And so we're almost ready to tell the Passover story. Not yet. Our Thespians are ready to go, raring and ready to go. But before we do that, we are going to sing a couple of songs that are relevant for this story. So we're going to sing a couple of songs, and then I'll let everyone know when our story, when it's time. So the first one is Am Yisrael Chai. We are alive. We're here. We've been through a lot of adversity as a people. And here we are, another Pesach, a Pesach that's also come from adversity as well. And yet here we are together. We always find ways. We find ways to come together no matter what, as a people, as family. And so this is what Am Yisrael Chai really is about. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai. Am Yisrael Chai. Am Yisrael Chai. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai. Od Avinu, Od Avinu, Od Avinu 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 Chai. Am Yisrael Chai. Am Yisrael Chai. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai. And as we were slaves, we're going to find out what the story was about. But let us join in one more song right before our play. And this is the famous When Israel Was in Egypt Land. I think most of us know it. When Israel was in Egypt land, let my people go. Oppressed so hard they could not stand, let my people go. Go down, Moses. presenting the Mitzvateers in a Passover play directed by Elizabeth and her co-director producer, Dr. Bex.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for letting us indulge for a few minutes. Everyone that is in the cast, can you please unmute yourselves? And I'm just going to read your names out quickly and what parts you're playing so people know. So Linda is playing the narrator, and Mike is playing Joseph, and Paul is playing Aaron and Benjamin, and Isaac is Pharaoh, and Rebecca is all the little bits that we couldn't get anyone else to do. And Ellen is the advisor, and I think she's one of the Hebrews, but you can tell me, Ellen.
Yeah.
Hebrew 3, okay, love. And the boss is my sister Caroline, and Pharaoh is Reuben, Moses is Daniel, and God is my husband Barry, and I think, yeah, Paul is Aaron. So with no further ado, we are going to start our play. Thank you.
One day, Moses decides to sneak out of the palace and see for him. Oh, I'm on the wrong page. Sorry about that. I'm on the wrong page. Wow.
But I had the wrong play.
I did the wrong play. Are we okay now?
Yep.
I'm blaming the cat.
Oh.
Okay. Our story begins in the land of Egypt, where Joseph, once a prisoner, is now Pharaoh's chief advisor.
How are things back in Israel?
Oi, terrible. Our gardens and crops are dying. There's no rain this year. That is why we had to come down to Egypt.
Well, don't worry. Life in Egypt is fantastic. PlayStation 3 in every house. High-definition television. Lincoln Navigators in the driveway. This is the most powerful nation on the planet.
Did you have rain this year? Are your gardens and crops doing well?
We don't have to worry about that. I've stored away tons of food in giant warehouses. The Pharaoh will be able to feed the people for 3 years at least, even if we get no rain.
What does this Pharaoh think of us Hebrews?
He loves me. He welcomes the Hebrews into his land. Bring the entire family. We'll make a great life here.
The Hebrews all moved to Egypt and had many children and lived a successful life. But after many years, after Joseph and his brothers had died, a new Pharaoh rose to power.
Advisor, bring me the latest census report. I wish to know all the people I rule over.
Yes, Your Royal Highness. I have the numbers here.
Let's see. Nubians, Medians, yes, very good. Are there really that many Hebrews?
Oh, yes, Your Highness. And they're growing in number. They're very strong workers.
Do you think that might be a danger? Perhaps they will challenge my rule, make demands. You know how these workers are always complaining about the size of the rocks for the new pyramids. I'm worried that they will use their strength in numbers to rise against
me. Yes, you're right. We must do something to break their spirits.
First, let us do something small. We'll get them to make more bricks each day. If that doesn't work, we'll eliminate the 15-minute tea breaks. If that doesn't break them, we'll have to turn to some harsher measures.
The Hebrew workers struggled to keep up with Pharaoh's demands.
My hands are killing me and my back. Oi, I can't take this pace.
We can make 1,000 bricks a day, but 2,000? No team can work that hard. We'll fall over.
Get back to work. The boss is coming.
Efficiency, people. We've got to make 9. Stop moaning. We've got to make 900 more bricks by sundown. Come on, chop.
We are working as fast as we can, boss.
Listen to me, you smart Alec. I've got a lot of pressure on at the moment. If Pharaoh doesn't get his bricks, I'm out of a job. I've got a family to feed too, so stop your moaning, get down into the pit and get working now.
We haven't had a break all day.
And you know what? You're not going to get one. Now get back to work.
You know what, boss? You're really becoming a big pain in the tuchus.
I beg your pudding. What did you just say?
Me.
The boss walks over and pushes the Hebrew to the ground.
Now get back to work before you get on the one nerve that I have left and I become really angry.
Meanwhile, Pharaoh's daughter adopted a young Hebrew child. The child, Moses, was raised with the finest Egypt had to offer.
Here we are, sweetheart. Eat your honey cakes before your flute lesson. Oh.
I am so excited about the party this evening.
Your new robe looks lovely, dear. I just hope that the pyramid is finished. Your grandfather's working the slaves double time. Oh, and just to get the place finished before the great assembly.
I heard that the Hebrews were complaining.
Complaining? Don't worry about that. We take care of the needs of all our workers, dear. They are fed, given homes, and we give them a new pair of shoes each year. We are very generous. The only problem is that there are simply too many Hebrews. For that reason, we're cutting down their number. I know it's sad that we are having to kill off their baby boys, but we are really doing it for their own good.
I know so little about the world. Someday I'd like to go out of the palace and see how they live.
They're not clean like us, dear, especially the Hebrews. They're throwing garbage in the streets, and the smell is terribly horrible.
One day, Moses decides to sneak out of the palace and see for himself the plight of the Hebrews.
I can't work today. I'm sick and I hurt my arm yesterday lifting these stupid stones.
Oh, really? How interesting. I don't really want to hear your excuses, dear. This pyramid needs to be finished by Thursday. Today is Wednesday, so get a move on, I get it done.
I can't work. Please listen to me and have some compassion.
Give him a break, boss, please.
Shut up.
Don't get involved.
I'm tired of this, boss. My cousin there, well, he's hurt. He can't work today. So go tell Pharaoh that he'll have to hire some more workers, or this isn't going to get done.
Oh my gosh, we've got a lippy one here. We really have. Now you shut up and you get on with it.
And the boss pushes Hebrew 2 to the ground.
Stop it.
I am going to hurt you really, really bad. You whiny little Hebrew.
Stop! Here comes the Pharaoh's princess is coming.
Moses?
What is happening?
Well, I'm going to give this snivelling wretch the beating he deserves, Your Honor. Watch this!
No!
Moses hits the boss, who falls to the ground.
Oh no! What'd you do to the boss? We'll be blamed for this. We'll be punished.
What have I done? What have I done?
Moses ran away far off into the wilderness, where he's taken in by Yitro and marries one of Yitro's daughters, Zipporah. One day, as Moses is taking care of Yitro's sheep, he stumbles across a burning bush.
Moses! Moses!
Who is that? What is going on? What is happening?
It is me, the God of your ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
You must have the wrong number.
This is no time for jokes. You must go back to Egypt and stand up to Pharaoh. Then you will lead the people back to their homeland.
How will I do that? The people do not know me. I have no power now that I have run away.
I will be with you. Go to your sister Miriam and brother Aaron and stand up to Pharaoh.
And so Moses returns to Egypt with his wife and son Gershom. Aaron and Moses approach Pharaoh.
What do you want?
Our people need a 3-day vacation. We need to go outside of the city so that we can pray to God in our own way.
And why can't you wait for the festival of the pyramids? Well, then your people will have the chance to celebrate with everyone.
We do not wish to pray to your gods. We have one God who is mightier than all of your gods.
You must be joking. The gods have made Egypt a powerful nation. What has your God done for you?
You'll see. You'll see what our God can do, and then you'll give to our demands.
Don't count on it, Hebrew.
Pharaoh was a stubborn man. Even after plagues of blood, frogs, lice, disease, hail, and darkness, he would not let the Hebrews take a day off. It wasn't until a disease struck and killed the firstborn of every Egyptian that Pharaoh changed his mind.
Don't you understand what is happening?
No, Your Highness. I don't know why our gods are not protecting us.
Ah, drat. Everything we did to the Hebrews is now happening to us.
Maybe their God is really powerful.
Tell the police that are surrounding their neighborhoods to let them go.
Dinner's here.
That night, Moses spoke to the people.
Put on your sandals. We not have time to bake the bread for tomorrow. Tonight we will leave Egypt and set out for a new land. Our children and our children's children will remember this night. They will tell the story of how we stood up to Pharaoh and how God helped us to be free.
Let all who are hungry come and eat. My mom makes the best chicken soup.
And thus ends our little play.
Yesher koach.
Well
Wonderful.
done.
Yesher koach, everyone. That was really, really nice. Thank you so much to our Thespians, or Ahavah Thespians, as we like to call them, and to Elizabeth, Dr. Bex. Very nice. Just a little levity, a little fun. And so let's get our Haggadah back. So part of the story is also mentioning the plagues, and the way we do it is we take our glass of wine, and because we are, on one hand, we're very happy that we were freed and that we are here, but people had to suffer for it. And so we take wine as a symbol of joy, or grape juice. And so we take our finger and we take a little bit of wine out of our cup for each of the plagues, just to say that while we are happy that we are free, we're not happy that other people had to suffer for it. So as we dip, we go, Dam tzvardeha. We can unmute and do it together. Kinim, beasts. De'arov, beasts. The kinim was lice. Cattle, disease. Dever, chin, boils. Barad, hail. Arbe, locust. Choshech, darkness. Makat bechorot, the death of the firstborn. And as the people got to the Red Sea and they passed and they were saved, they were so elated, they were so happy to be able to celebrate. Miriam and the women took their instruments and they sang. Elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar bakodesh, nora tehilot, osef ele, nora tehilot, osef ele. Yada dai 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 dai, yada dai 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 dai, yadi dai 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 dai. Die, la 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 la, yedi die 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 die, yedi die 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 die, yedi die 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 die, die 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 die. We cover the matzah and we raise our wine glass as we sing. והיא שעמדה לאבותינו ולנו, והיא שעמדה לאבותינו ולנו, שלא אחד בלבד עמד עלינו לכלותנו, אלא שבכל דור עומדים עלינו לכלותנו, והקדוש ברוך הוא מצילנו מידם. In every generation, in every era, there have been those who have tried to destroy us, but God has always saved us from them. We place the glass of wine back on the table, and we cover the matzah again. God has always shown us many acts of loving kindness, so many that it's impossible for us to count them. We're thankful for each of these acts of kindness, and we know that even just one of these things would have been enough. Dayenu. You know this one. Die, Dayenu, die, Dayenu, die, Dayenu, 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 die, Dayenu, die, Dayenu, die, Dayenu, Dayenu, Dayenu. Ilu הוציאנו ממצרים, הוציאנו ממצרים, דיינו, די, דיינו, די, דיינו, די, דיינו, 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 די, דיינו, די, דיינו, די, דיינו, דיינו, דיינו. אילו נתן לנו את התורה, נתן לנו את התורה, דיינו. אילו נתן לנו את השבת, נתן לנו את השבת, דיינו. די, דיינו, די, דיינו, די, דיינו, 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 די, דיינו, די, דיינו, די, דיינו. Dayenu. And so now we ask Barry to read for us.
This Dayenu is not centered on what God has done for us, but rather what we can and should do for ourselves. If people respected the beliefs and ideas of others,
Dayenu.
If all the people work together for a better world,
Dayenu.
If people used kind words instead of insults,
Dayenu.
If people realize we are all equal,
Dayenu.
Dayenu.
If people could share more and fight less,
Dayenu.
if there was no crime or injustice, if we trusted each other,
Dayenu.
if the rich thought more about the poor,
Dayenu.
if there was peace in the world and people laughed regularly,
Dayenu.
if people were less lazy and less driven by material acquisition,
Dayenu.
if people would be happy with what they have,
Dayenu.
if people realized how precious our world is and really took care of it, if people acted in more responsible ways,
Dayenu.
if all families were more supportive and less judgmental,
Dayenu.
people could admit their mistakes and strive for better.
Dayenu.
If people looked to God and did more mitzvot,
Dayenu.
our world without
Dayenu
makes our hearts sink.
Amen. Todah. And we ask Ruben to unmute and to read for us.
There we go. This is the Shengpo and say, this Shengpo reminds us of the lamb that our ancestors sacrificed and ate in the days of the temple, as a symbol on the Seder plate. It reminds us that during the 10th plague, God passed Pesach over the houses of the Israelis and spared their firstborn. Oh, whoops. I'm going backwards here. We eat the matzah to remind us as how our ancestors had to leave Egypt so quickly that their bread dough did not have time to rise. Morer. We eat these bitter herbs to remind us how bitter the Egyptians made our ancestors' lives when they were forced into slavery.
Thank you very much. בכל טוב אדום חייב אדם לראות את עצמו כאילו יצא ממצרים. In every generation, we should feel as though we personally have just come out of Egypt. We lift the glass of wine and we say, we give thanks to God for performing miracles that freed us from slavery, turned sorrow into joy, and from darkness brought us into light. Hallelujah.
Yeah.
And we sing about coming out of Egypt and being thankful that we did and being joyous that we are here to celebrate and enjoy our Pesach. ישראל ממצרים, בית יעקב מעמלו עז. בצאת ישראל ממצרים, בית יעקב מעמלו עז. הייתה יהודה לקודשו, ישראל ממשלותיו. הים רב הינוס, הירדן מסוב לאחור. בצאת ישראל ממצרים, את יעקב מעמלו עז. And please fill your glass wine. And we're going to say together, thank you, God, for bringing us out of Egypt, so that we can be here together eating matzah and bitter herbs, so that we may never forget the pain of slavery or the sweetness of freedom. We hope to always remember to treat all living beings with dignity and respect. And let's say it together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri hagafen. L'chaim. After we take a little sip, we wash our hands before the meal. This is symbolic. We're not going to have an official meal. If you have food, you can eat it. But let's do the official washing of our hands. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו על נטילת ידיים. And now let's take some matzah. And we're going to say together, we say two blessings for the matzah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. And we also say, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al achilat matzah. So let's take a little matzah. And we lean on one side. And as we eat that, let's get our maror together. Hold the maror up and we say, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al achilat maror. Blessed are you, God, who makes us holy with your good rules and commanded us to eat maror. So you can now eat the maror, and as you see in the picture, you can dip it in a little bit of charoset if it's a little too bitter. And we now take a little bit of our matzah. We make a matzah sandwich with bitter herbs and charoset. And let's say together, on Passover, when the temple was still standing in Jerusalem, Rabbi Hillel would eat a sandwich made of paschal lamb, matzah, and maror. These days, we don't believe in sacrifices, so our sandwich is made with only maror and charoset. This too reminds us of the slavery and redemption. And we can now eat the sandwich. So this would be where we're to have a meal. And if you're in a time zone where you need to have a meal, or anywhere you are, midnight snack maybe, we can do that now. But we're just going to go on with our Seder. We're actually going to finish. How many families actually finish? Usually we get to the meal and that's it. But we're going to finish the Seder, and then everybody can go and either have a meal or go to sleep or whatever it is, whatever time zone we're in. Have some more parties. So we're also gonna I know we have some kids here. We're gonna skip the afikomen. The parents will do it later. They'll have to find the afikomen with your parents later on and see if you find it, maybe you get a prize. Who knows? So after this, when we finish, remind your parents that they need to hide the afikomen if they haven't already, and you have to go look for it and maybe get a prize. And so now we get to the third glass of wine. I like this Seder because we actually just drink the wine and eat very little food, and that's really how it should be, right? This is the new normal. So let's fill the third glass of wine, and let's say together, "Thank you, God, for bringing us out of Egypt with an outstretched arm and enabling us to be here today as free people." Let's say together. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri hagafen. Amen. Beautiful. Take a little shluck, as we say. And so yeah, we move. And we're going to invite Elijah into our house. And we're going to open the door for Elijah, or symbolically open the door for Eliyahu Hanavi. And we're also, this time, you'll see, we're also inviting Miriam. We're going to ask Paul to unmute and to read for us about Elijah and Miriam.
Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishvi.
Oh, no, the English part where it says Eliyahu Hanavi, Miriam Hanavi. There's an extra cup.
We worked so hard. Just a minute. Got it. Okay. Elijah the prophet, Elijah the Tishbite. O Elijah from Galilee, come speedily in our time.
No, even up more where it says there's an extra cup of wine on the table.
Sorry.
That's fine. No worries.
There is an extra cup of wine on the table.
This cup is for Elijah the prophet. According to tradition, Elijah is the prophet who challenged rulers to live just
as on Passover.
The doors of our homes are open to welcome the needy.
To those who wish
to join us,
we open the door to invite Elijah to join us.
We ask for his customary blessing for a year of peace and freedom. We also fill Miriam's cup with water. Midrash teaches us that a miraculous, well-accompanied the Hebrews throughout their journey in the desert, given by God because of the merits of Miriam, the prophetess. Miriam's optimism and faith were also a spiritual oasis, giving the Hebrews the confidence to overcome the hardships of the Exodus. As we open our doors to all who wish to enter, so should we open our minds to learning and personal growth, and open our hearts to the less fortunate. Let us open the door and sing.
Toda Rabbah. Thank you so much. And now we open our door physically, or if you can, or just figuratively. and we welcome them in. And I saw a great meme that said that this year, I think Ruben had it on his Facebook, that said that this year we can really see Elijah and Miriam because they're wearing a mask. So, they're usually invisible. And so this year, the meme had a mask at the door and said, this year we can really see Elijah. Eliyahu hanavi, Eliyahu hatishbi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu הגלעדי, במהרה בימינו יבוא אלינו, עם משיח בן דוד, עם משיח בן דוד. מרים הנביאה, עוז וזמרה בידה, מרים תרקוד איתנו להגדיל זמרת עולם. מרים תרקוד איתנו לתקן את העולם, במהרה בימינו היא תביאנו אל מי הישועה. And we can now close the door. He comes really quickly. And so we now fill our fourth glass of wine. And let's say together, it is our duty to give praise and to honor God who performed all of these miracles for our ancestors. May it be your will to guide all families suffering from persecution into freedom, as you did for our ancestors. May we celebrate this Passover with all the families of Israel and the world in freedom. Adonai, ki tov, ki leolam chasdod. Yomarna Israel, ki leolam chasdod. Yomuna betaron, ki leolam chasdod. So we raise our fourth glass of wine, fourth and final. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri hagafen. Amen. Give you a little chance to take a sip. Enjoy a little bit. And we sing L'Shana Haba B'Yerushalayim, Yerushalayim Habnuya, next year in rebuilt Jerusalem. And the reference is to the Bet HaMikdash, the Holy Temple, that we hope that will be rebuilt one day. And if we take this into a little more of the metaphorical, mystical land, we can also say that Yerushalayim is a state of being, a state of mind, a place where we can be in our lives, where are we going to be next year? Where is our Yerushalayim, our own personal inner Jerusalem? And in these times, it's a year since we've started with the pandemic, and we had our first Seder then, and now our second one together like this. And we hope that the next year, Yerushalayim means that we are just able to maybe be a little closer, maybe enjoy each other a little more, even though we really enjoy each other, and there's a lot of spirit, ruach, here through Zoom even. We feel it. We feel each other. We have connections beyond. But it would be nice to just be able to once again dance and sing outside and see some people and have the best of both worlds, where we can have these kind of moments and yet also go out and have dinner, physical dinner with people, with family, with friends. It's all coming, and we say L'shana haba b'Yerushalayim habnuya, and we really hope that Yerushalayim habnuya is going to be our freedom, and also Israel too, right? Let's all go to Israel. Maybe we can all make a trip together. לשנה הבאה בירושלים, לשנה הבאה בירושלים, לשנה הבאה בירושלים, לשנה הבאה בירושלים הבנויה. לשנה הבאה בירושלים, לשנה הבאה בירושלים, לשנה הבאה בירושלים, לשנה הבאה בירושלים הבנויה. לשנה הבאה בירושלים, לשנה הבאה בירושלים, לשנה הבאה בירושלים, לשנה הבאה בירושלים הבנויה. לשנה הבאה בירושלים, לשנה הבאה בירושלים, לשנה הבאה בירושלים הבנויה. One more time, go. לשנה הבאה בירושלים, לשנה הבאה בירושלים, לשנה הבאה בירושלים, לשנה הבאה בירושלים הבנויה. לשנה הבאה בירושלים, לשנה הבאה בירושלים, לשנה הבאה בירושלים, לשנה הבאה בירושלים הבנויה. And may we all be next year in Jerusalem, physically in the actual Jerusalem, and in our own spiritual Jerusalem, wherever that may take us. Thank you so much for joining us for Seder. And this ruach, there was such ruach spirit here. It was just amazing. It's amazing to see everyone. It's good to get together. Thank you again for our Thespians. And we will see you again next Shabbat. We have our service again. And you'll get an email to come join us. And again, I'm going to hawk it. Tzadikim Anachnu's coming out. The Benot Mitzvah of our Mitzvateers, April 17th. Thank you so much, everyone. Toda rabah. So glad you joined us. And we will see you on Shabbat. Chag Sameach, everyone.